Hey friends, and welcome back. I am trying to finish up my Orange Bird signature journal here today. I have only, I think, 2 or 3 pages left that I need to add in, and then I just have to add in some of the ephemera and some of the other small little inserts that I've made. So I need to kind of do some pockets and some other little things, but I figured I would turn the camera on and craft with you guys today. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, subscribe, turn on the little notifications bell so you're notified when I post a new video. So let's get crafting. So if you haven't yet watched my previous video where we did another page in this journal, I haven't videoed the whole journal. I've only videoed one other page that I did, but I will do a full flip through at the very end, but I'll also link the other video that I did, the other full page. So in today's video, I want to do another full page and I want to use another envelope, and I'm going to do kind of like a double flip pocket on that page. I printed out just a couple of pieces of paper here that I want to use. I have some scrap things here just lying around. I have this little it's a vintage, it's the copy of a vintage postcard. Don't know if I'm going to use that in this one or not, maybe, but I figured I would just start working on a page and then we'll kind of see where it fits in the journal and kind of go from there. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim up this page that I printed out. It's just of some oranges. I'm just trimming the edges off. My printer always has edges. I can't get it to print off the edge, so I have to always trim up my paper a little bit, which kind of is a pain because I feel like I end up wasting quite a bit of paper. So that's what I'm doing here. Just gonna trim these edges really quickly. And then I'm going to grab my measurements that I had jotted down before of my page size, which is 7 3/4 by 5 3/4, or just slightly under. So I'm going to cut a page that is those dimensions. Okay, so I cut my page to size. I'm just going to go in and ink it up a little bit around the edges. Don't like those harsh edges. I am using, for ink, I am using Vintage Photo Archival ink. I actually need to get a new one. I think that this one is starting to dry out a little bit because I'm having to stamp my stamper an awful lot. Okay. There we go. All right, now I want to take an envelope, and this is just a standard envelope. I don't know, I must have used it for something, but I am going to fold this in half just so that I have 2 sides that are exactly the same size. Just give it a quick fold, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut that in half on the fold line. All right, so now I have 2 envelopes that are the exact same size. Okay, so now that I have both halves of my envelope cut in half, or I have both my envelope cut into 2 pieces, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue these flaps, one to the bottom and one to the top, so that I have a flap that flaps up from the bottom and then another flap that flaps down from the top. But what I want to make sure when I am gluing them to my cardstock here is that where I cut them, the opening is on the outer side of my page. So it's on the right hand side, because I'm going to be sticking this is going to be a left hand page. So I want this to be the opening of my envelope right here. So I'm going to have a pocket in this one to the right, and then it will also flip up, and then a pocket on this one to the right, and that will flip down. So now that I have them kind of where I want them, I'm going to flip them around. Let me just make sure that they're lined up good here, because I want them both to be pretty even. I'm actually just gonna make a little mark so I know where to line them up. There we go. And then flip it around. Now, these envelopes have like a peel and stick, but I also am gonna put a little bit of Fabri-Fix on here as well because I don't trust the peel and stick. I don't think that that's gonna be, it's gonna hold good enough. So let's just put a little bit of this Fabri-Fix on here. Okay, and I'll fold that flap down. And then I'll do the same with the bottom. Make sure I'm lined up where I wanted to be. Make sure it didn't move. I think that's good. Okay, let's put some more Fabri-Fix here. All right, fold that one up and over. Okay. Now I should have my two flippy pockets, one that flips up and one that flips down, just like that. And then they both are open on the right-hand side. Okay, now also I am going to glue this down, this little flap down, actually both little flaps down because I don't want them open like this. So I'm just also going to put a little bit of Fabri-Fix to glue those down on the side. I should have done this probably before, but that's okay. Just do a little glue there along the edge. And then I'll do the same at the top. Just right along the edge. There. Now I have two nice pockets that will flip up, flip down. All right, so I printed out another sheet of my paper that I designed for this project. I did kind of like a orange Florida themed paper, and it's got a lot of design elements on here. So I'm going to use this paper right here to start to cover my little flaps. So I'm first going to decide what one. I think I want to use this one with the little stamp on it down at the bottom. So I am just going to kind of line that up with my little flap and then just make a mark so I know how to cut. I'm going to leave a tiny little space all the way around so that I'll be able to ink the edge. So I want to cut that one out first. And then we'll look and see what I have left for designs for the top flap. So I'm going to be careful not to like overcut this. I'm only going to cut it what I need. That way, if I want to use any other piece of this paper, it won't be cut too badly. All right, so I'm going to use that for the bottom. And then I kind of like this stamp too. I might use this stamp for the top with the oranges. So that way it's all kind of like stamps. I think that's what I'm going to do. So there's my bottom. Here's my top. I'm going to do the exact same thing, just kind of line it up with my envelope. And then make a little mark where I want to cut, just so that it is just slightly under the size of the actual flap. I didn't list this paper in my Etsy shop yet. Not sure if I'm going to or not. I am, however, working on another project, and that one is going to be, I'm doing all custom papers for that, all custom like journaling papers. So I will probably be listing that one. That one, I think I'm going to call it Message in a Bottle because it's kind of like a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of beachy fantasy, whimsical kind of look. So I'll probably be listing that one in my Etsy because that's going to be a whole collection of papers. Okay, so here are the ones that I cut out. There's one right there. I like that. I think that's gonna be good. Okay, let's glue these right down to our flaps. Actually, I am gonna round the edge. Before I do anything, I'm gonna round the edges on these, just to soften it up just a little bit. I did round the edges of a lot of the pages in the journal, so I kind of want to keep it coherent. All right, so I cut these all out. I cut my, I rounded out my corners. I'm gonna distress the edges just to get rid of that whiteness. And then I will also distress the flip pages. But I think I'm gonna do that after I glue these on. So there's one. Okay, there's two. Let's glue these down. All right, so this is my top. I'll do my top one first. Okay. All right, so now you can see I have just a slight bit of an edge on that, and then I'll distress those edges. So there's my top flap. And let's do the same with the bottom. Okay. And there's my bottom. I like that page so far. So my whole theming, if you haven't watched the first video, my whole theming with this journal is to kind of incorporate like the old school kind of vintage Florida with like the newer bright colors of like the orange bird and his friends. So if you're not familiar with orange bird is kind of like a classic Florida icon, which Disney, I don't know if they bought the rights to him or they use him a lot in their, you know, they have a lot of orange bird themed items in Disney. So I actually created some friends to go along with him. And so that's kind of like the theme of this journal, is to incorporate the old school Florida with kind of the bright pops of color with the orange bird and his friends. All right, now let me take my circle punch. Let me clean it out here. And I am going to punch a couple little tabs into my envelope here. Actually, I'm gonna do it on both. I'm gonna do it both sides. So I'm gonna, about halfway, like a half circle, I'm gonna cut a little tab. And then I'm gonna do the same on the bottom, just so that you can tell that it is a little pocket there. And now I'm gonna go in and distress those white edges. All right, so I also want to fill in the back of the envelopes. So I'm going to just use the other pages, or the other piece of that page, and I'm just going to do just like I did for the cover and just measure out how much I need to cut, and then I'll go ahead and cut those and glue those on and distress them just like I did on the front. All right, so I made a little bit of a mistake. I cut my top page a little too short, so I ended up using another piece of the orange paper instead. So it's okay, it's underneath, it doesn't matter. I'll use this for a card or something, like a signature card or something like that. I'll just put that off to the side. But here's what we have. Oh, I also wanted to mention that I didn't cut the notch in the back papers here, because what I went ahead and did was I just distressed underneath on the white part of the paper, so that way you can really see that there's a pocket there. So I just opened that up. I should have probably done it before a little bit, but that's okay. So I just, as you can see, I just distressed that white part of the back of the paper, so that way you can see there's two little notches. Okay, now it's time to start decorating. Okay, so on the inside of our little flip book here, or a little flip page, I want to put a spot to do some journaling. So I have these 3 pages of just regular notebook paper. It's a smaller notebook paper. This one is only measuring, let me see what it measures, about 5 inches wide. So I thought this would fit perfectly in underneath one of these flaps, but I didn't like that it was so long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this in half exactly, so that way I have 3 pages. So if I cut it in half, it will make 6 full pages of journaling spots, just like that. And then I'm just going to take my stapler, and I'm going to just do a quick little staple at the top, just to hold those pages together. And I'll do one on one end and one little staple on the other. And I'm doing it very close to the top, as you can see, very close, just to hold the pages all together. And then on the flat side, I found just a little scrap of my paper that I was using. I am just going to glue just a little scrap of that paper right on top of those staples, so you can't see the staples. Just a little bit of glue. I don't know how much I'm going to need, so just did a little bit. And then I'll just carefully glue that right on top of those staples so that they're not exposed. And then I'll just trim off that end. All right. And then I'm going to glue this right down. Put a little bead of glue right along the back top, right where the back of the staples are. And we'll glue that right down underneath our top flap. So now we have a little writing area that you'll be able to flip through, little journaling area under here. This will flip down on top of it. And you know what I should have done before? I should have rounded the edges, which I can still do. I can still do that. I also have a little bit of the paper. You know, I might even cut that. I should have done that all before I glued this down. Let me see if I can trim this up just a hair, because I didn't realize I had some of the glue from the top of the page. Okay, so I quickly just trimmed off the bottom just slightly where that glue was, and I also rounded the edges, and now I'm just distressing the edges of this paper just slightly, not a whole lot, but I love the distressed look, so I just want to distress it lightly. So there is our little journaling spot. And then down at the bottom here, we can do another little section with maybe some stickers, or let's see what we have. All right, so I found just a little scrap of this green worded paper. It's like a cardstock paper, and I'm gonna make a little pocket out of this, and I'm gonna do just a short pocket just so that I can stick a little. I have a couple of these little ephemeras, little tags that you can write on the back, and that way I can stick those in the pocket. So for this one, I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch all the way around, maybe a little slightly less than 1/4 of an inch, but just marking where I want my pocket to be. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Let me set this aside for a minute. Let's see. Where's my mark? There it is. All right, so there's one side. Where's my other side? Did I cut it off? I think I cut it off. Did I? Where'd it go? Oh, no, it didn't. It's right here. I do that. I will make a mark and then I'll end up cutting it off by mistake, but I didn't this time. Okay, so just like the others, I'm gonna round this pocket off slightly too on the edges. And I'm gonna distress it, and I'm also gonna cut a little notch in the top with my half circle right in the center, just like that. Let's go in and distress these edges, ink it up a little bit, make it look a little bit vintage. The bright colors mixed with the vintage look. I really like that together. I like the incorporation of the two. Okay. All right, so there's my pocket. I can go ahead and glue that onto my page here now. All right, there's my little pocket. That looks really cute. All right, let's glue the sides and bottom. Right. Right, so there is my little pocket. Now I can stick some more ephemera in there. I have a couple little tags. I like that one. I might stick a couple of these little die cuts. I did stickers and die cuts for this, and also the stickers and die cuts are in my Etsy shop, so if you want to go check that out, I will link that below. You can choose between either the 3-inch stickers or the 3-inch die cuts, and the die cuts are on like a lightweight cardstock. So those are all in my Etsy. So what do I want to use? Oh, maybe this little guy right here, the little flamingo. Let's bring some pink in there. Maybe I'll stick that in there just like that. I like that. That's super cute. And do I have any? I think I used up the last of my stickers. What else do I have here? I have lots of little odds and ends to finish up some tags, because I want to actually make some tags now that will, some signature tags, because the whole purpose of this journal is a character signature journal. So I'm making little tags to get character signatures on and kind of incorporating them throughout the entire journal. So let's see if I do have this piece that I mistakenly cut earlier. I can probably use that. It might be a little bit big now. I might need to cut it down. Yeah, I do need to cut it down, but I can use this for one of the tags, and I probably have another tag. Actually, you know what? I'm looking at this really quickly, and I'm thinking that I want to add just a little bit of lace. I think I'm going to add a little lace just to the front of my pocket here, only because I've been adding lace pretty much everywhere else, and I think a little bit of lace would look good in there. So let's just do that while I'm right here. Let's see. Let's just go along right about here. Just eyeballing it, not really measuring. And then again, I'm using the lace. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wrap it right around the back side. I'm gonna go right there and I'm gonna wrap it right around the back side of the page. This is the side that's gonna get glued down. So I'll put a little bit of the glue here, and then I'll put a little bit of the glue here, and I will cut this off leaving just enough to wrap around the back. And we'll put that down into the glue, and this one. All right, now we have our lace wrapped all the way around. I like that. I think that's cute. I think it needed a little bit of something. I might even do something else in there, or I might do something on the front here. I think I'm gonna do some little embellishments on the front of my flaps as well. Let me look through my little knickknacks and see what I have. I have so many little scrap things. I do have a little bit more scrap lace. I have this little bit of scrap. That's pretty white though. I'm using more ivory colors and off-whites. I do have a little pin that I'm going to incorporate in this journal as well, but I think I'm going to put this on. I'm going to do like a little tag on the outside, so I think I'm going to use that there. And I'm also going to use this cute little orange roller skate on the outside, and I also have a little flamingo. So these are just a few little like knick-knacky things I've been just saving up, and I thought this was so cute. I had bought a pack of vintage keys, and this one actually had a little Mickey head in it. I thought that was so cute. It wasn't a Disney, you know, it wasn't a Disney pack, but it did have it had the little Mickey key in it, which was cute. I have a little ice cream cone. That's kind of cute. I have these little butterflies. These are pretty. I might put a little butterfly out there. I do. I kind of like that butterfly. Do I have anything else that can go at the top? Let's see. These are all a little bit too bulky. I have a red butterfly. Let me flip through the rest of my confetti and see if I have anything else. I have these little flowers. These are like little charm flowers. I could do something like that. It's a little too heavy for what I want. I want something a little flatter that will lay flat on the page. All right, so I picked through a bunch of my little confetti items, which what I call little small things, and I found 2 little fabric flowers and 2 little buttons that I think will go, and then I'm going to use one of those cute little butterfly buttons up top, and I'm just going to keep it pretty simple. I don't think I'm going to put any lace. Maybe I'll put a little bit of lace under the butterfly, but the little fabric flowers, I'm just going to layer them up at the bottom corner here with some glue, and then just put the buttons in the centers of them. So let's do that right now. Let's put a little bit of my Fabri-Fix on these cute little fabric flowers, and then I'll just do a little dab of glue right in the center, and then we'll put, I'm gonna do the green button in the center of the pink flower and the pink button in the center of the bluish color flower. Just like that, pretty simple. All right, let's see this one up top up here. So I want to take a little piece of lace. Sure, I'll just take a little snippet of lace. Not a lot, just a little bit. And I'll just put that right underneath. I'm actually folding it in half a little bit because it's kind of odd shaped. And we'll put that right up here in the top corner. Put a little bit more glue on top of it, and we'll stick that butterfly down right on top of it. Just like that. Just to give it a little something. All right, I think that looks cute. All right, let's work on some tags now. For this one, I just trimmed it down a little bit smaller because it was a little bit too big. It wouldn't fit in the pocket. And then I just found a piece of orange. I had a little piece of orange scrapbook paper that I just cut just slightly smaller and glued it to the back. Now I'm going to make a little pull tab or a little pull ribbon, and I'm going to use my hole punch. And we're going to just punch a little hole right in the side, and we're going to put a little eyelet in there and then put a little ribbon in the eyelet. So let's see. I'm getting low on my eyelets here. I do have one. I'm definitely getting low though. I'm going to have to order some more. I have a whole bunch of little hardware in here, all kinds of different little hardware pieces, but my eyelets, I use those a lot, so I'm definitely getting low with those. Okay, so let's put our eyelet in. I don't have the best eyelet press. This one it was cheap, but it doesn't always press nice and tight, so I have to kind of go back and press both sides. So there's my little eyelet. And then I was thinking of taking just this little ribbon and putting this little ribbon through the edge, which I think it will fit. Let's see if I have enough. I just make like a little loop, and then I open the little loop on one side, and I try to pull in. I don't know if no, I'm not gonna have enough with that one. Not quite enough. If it was slightly longer, I would. All right, let's see, what are we gonna use instead? I'm trying to use up scraps. I could use this lace. Let me cut a strip of this lace. I don't want anything too much. I hope this is enough. Yeah, let's see. I don't know if this is even going to be enough. Yeah, it's more than what I had there. So let's see. Let's fold it in half. I just kind of make a tiny little, not knot, but just make it small enough so that it will fit through that eyelet. And then I'll open it back up so I have a loop, and I'll take my bottom pieces and pull it through the loop. Let's see if I can get them through there. There we go. And now I have a cute little ribbon hang tag. And you know what? I put it on the wrong side. Now it's upside down. Oh, I'm always doing stuff like that. That's all right. It's still gonna go in here. It's gonna go in here whether it's right side up or not. But there, now my little my little lace will stick out right there. All right, so now I got to do another one for the bottom, and then this page will be all set. So I finished up my last little tag here. I ended up using a piece of scrap. I had a little bit of a paper bag that was left over from, I did a paper bag thing in the journal. So this was just a scrap. So I just cut it to size, and then I used some more of that orange paper. And I also put one of my little die cuts on the front of it. And then I did like a little piece of scrap fabric with a little charm that had a little flip-flop on it. So I thought that was cute. So that is going in this bottom flap, or this bottom pocket. And then I think we can call this page just about done. So now we can go ahead and glue this into our journal. Let me get the page that I wanted to glue it to. Let's see here. I have 2 pages left. So we're gonna do it to this page. It's getting very chunky and thick. So we're gonna glue that right to this page. And it's gonna go right about there. So I just wanna make sure that it fits. I think it fits pretty good. I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm going to take some of my glue and glue this down. I always make sure to get the edges really well so that they don't start to peel up. This Fabri-Fix glue is really good. This is my favorite paper crafting glue. It does have a little bit of a funky smell to it. It's not super strong. I mean, it is, you can smell it. It's not even as strong as like nail polish remover, but it does have a little bit of like acetone scent to it, but it works really well. Okay, so I've got that covered up really nicely. And let me put my little pin down in my top. And then let's put this page right into our journal. Gotta kind of work quickly because once it sticks pretty good. So there we go. Got it in there. I'm just pressing it down. Now, if I wanted to, I suppose I could do like a couple little buttons on here with a little piece of baker's twine just to keep these pockets from opening, which I might do. I don't think that they're gonna open because I think I've got enough other stuff in here to keep them shut pretty good. As you can see, this journal book is getting pretty thick. But if I wanted to, I definitely could do that. I could put a little button here and a little button here and then wrap some baker's twine around them to keep them shut together. I don't know. I'll think about it. All right. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you stick around for the full reveal of this book. I don't think I'll do any more tutorials on this book. I think this was the last tutorial. I think I'm just going to try to finish it up and move on to my next project because I do have another project that I am actively working towards. I'm designing some papers and stuff for it. So if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, turn on that little notifications bell so you're notified when I post again. And I do post usually almost every day, multiple times a week. So yeah, we will see you again real soon. Take care.